Attention is not a gift, it is a transaction. If you can't structure your expertise into a tight narrative loop, you're stealing your audience's time. And most founders and experts think that if they just turn the camera on and add value, the leads will show up. This is false. Without psychological structure, value is just noise. Now, if this is your first time seeing me, I'm Jonathan W. Pritchard. I spent 20 years as a touring mentalist, hacking attention on stages all over the world and working behind the scenes, helping strategize and execute with the biggest brands and companies in the world, like Chris Angel, BP, State Farm, Discovery, Brian Brushwood, Scam School. And now I act as a revenue architect for founders and companies, helping them build media assets and positioning that actually drives business. So today, I want to teach you the three-part framework I've used to hold attention of thousands of people at a time. And it's not storytelling, it's engineering. Now, in the world of magic, every great illusion follows a specific three-act structure. We call it the pledge, the turn, the prestige. And if you've seen the Christopher Nolan movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And if you apply this structure to your B2B content, your videos stop being informational and start being persuasive. Now, the most people obsess over the middle part of the video, the how-to, the tactics, but I'm going to show you why the third step, the prestige, is actually where all the revenue is generated, but you can't get to the revenue if you don't nail the first two steps. So, let's look at step 1, the pledge. In magic, the magician shows you something ordinary, a deck of cards, a bird, somebody on stage, whatever. And he asks you to check it out, to inspect it and see that it's real. And in business, this is your context. You've got to start your video by validating the reality that your prospect is living in right now. You acknowledge the standard advice. You acknowledge the status quo. You're saying, I see the world exactly the way that you see it. We're the same. I understand the problem you're facing. This builds rapport, connection, trust. It lowers their defense network. Then you move to step 2, the turn. So in magic, the magician takes the ordinary something and makes it do something extraordinary. The bird disappears, the person floats up into the rafters, whatever that is. It's amazing. In business, this is the reframe. This is where you introduce conflict. You take the standard advice you just talked about and then you flip it on its head. You show them why the old way of doing things is actually busted. You introduce a new perspective, a contrarian truth that makes them question what they thought they knew inside and out. So this creates a gap in their mind. It creates tension, and the human brain hates tension. It wants to resolve it. And that brings us to step 3, the prestige. In magic, this is the payoff. It's not enough to make something disappear. You gotta bring it back. That's the hardest part, which is why the audience claps for you. And in business, the prestige is the transformation. You resolve the tension you created. You don't just leave them with a problem, you hand them the keys to the new world that you've shown them. You show them how your methodology, your product, or your service brings order to the chaos. So when you land the prestige correctly, you aren't teaching them something, you're upgrading their status. You move them from confusion to clarity. That's the structure. The pledge creates trust, the turn creates tension, the prestige creates authority. And now you've got the psychological structure to hold attention. But I gotta be honest with you, even the best script in the world fails if the messenger looks low status. We're visual creatures. We judge books by their cover. If your video looks like a hostage situation in a spare bedroom, your authority is gone before you speak your first word. You need an environment that signals authority before you ever even open your mouth. So we're going to build your stage in this next video, and I'll see you there.